So in this video now, I would like to just stay with Mr. Ulrich Niesler and just share with you the 6 phases of the cognitive helping relationship. All right, this is what he pretty much defined in a couple of his books, actually. Now, obviously, cognitive behavioural therapy focuses on changing and modifying a person's thoughts so that in turn, their influence and decision-making habits will be then also modified, especially if a person is benefiting from or experiencing a set of undesired, unwanted circumstances in his or her life. So, this is where you want to get your notepad and pen out, right? There's generally 6 phases in the CBT process, all right? And this is it. I'm going to relate these ideas to what we've looked at so far and obviously give a bit of reference to where we're going throughout the rest of the course. Now, there's obviously going to be some parts of the process that I'm not going to be able to demonstrate and share with you throughout this course, all right? Just parts of the relationship that unfold over time. Step number 1, assessment. We've got to evaluate what's wrong and what the client's current cognitive process is. Now, when I say evaluate what's wrong, it might seem like this is a little bit negatively focused. Remember, CBT is a goal-orientated, goal-focused form of therapy. So sometimes evaluating what's wrong might just be evaluating what the goal is or what the purpose is or what's the reason why the client is coming to you for some CBT or for some help or for some insight, support, coaching, however you go and package your offerings. There's a few ways we can do this. There's a tool that I'll share with you later on in the goal setting section of the course, a goal setting workbook, and this also has a few other tools you can use just to help a client become clear on what they actually want. Now, remember, it's important that when we are working with the client's goals, that first and foremost, we are also assessing whether the goals that they are pursuing or claiming to be passionate about are actually in alignment with their values, right? So this isn't a yes or no question. You know, are your goals in alignment with your values? People might look at you and give you that guppy fish look and maybe nod their head and say yes or no, maybe, I'm not quite sure. But in fairness, most folk wouldn't have the faintest idea how to answer this question anyway. So it's imperative that you're asking the right questions, stemming from your understanding of what the core, main, primary, overriding human values are that pretty much drive all of us in life. So this all happens through the assessment phase, which can sometimes maybe be 1 or 2 sessions, realistically. Then we want to start the reconceptualization process. Now, remember, a lot of clients are going to naturally come to you focused on the negative, i.e., I have a nasty feeling going on. I feel anxious. I don't want to feel anxious. Well, it's not about us changing the emotion. We're not here to mystically make it go away. We're here to help them look at their circumstance, their situation, their goals, their dreams, their ambitions, their life purpose, whatever, their identity from alternative perspectives, right? That's it. So we want to be now looking at how it is that we can help our clients to reevaluate themselves in perhaps a more healthy way than that which they have done before in the past. So this is where we are working with the client, encouraging them to explore their experience differently. That's it. And we can do this through Socratic questions to find limiting beliefs. And I've not demonstrated them onto you just yet. They were in the workbook that I introduced you to a couple of videos ago, but I will be demonstrating throughout the remainder of this section and the next. So this is all reconceptualization. Some of the demonstrations that I've also done with Karen already, all right, it's again just how we can ask questions, use language conversationally, and if this was to mean something else, what might it mean? Remember that one powerful question I asked Karen about 3 or 4 times, and she ended up gaining all sorts of fascinating insights. Well, I didn't do any hard work there. I just asked questions. Karen did all the hard work inside of her own mind, cognitively. Step 3, skills acquisition. And this is where we're now actually empowering and helping our clients to take responsibility for themselves. All right? Now, we can be the kind of practitioners and helpers who just want our clients to come back and be completely dependent on us. But if that's the case, I'm going to urge you to look at your own neediness and your own levels of maturity and character, if that's the case, my friend. But I'm most sure that it isn't. You're here to really help serve your client in the most effective and the efficient way. So this is what we want to be doing. We want to be sharing with our clients the tools and the models to help them get about, living more effectively as soon as possible. I mean, what's the old philosophy? You can give a man a fish and he will eat for today. But if you teach a man how to fish, he will eat for a lifetime. And that's kind of what we're doing here. All right, where many forms of therapy, many therapists and practitioners will keep on giving out fish, metaphorically speaking, as it were, and then the clients become reliant on those fish, and then a dependency-based relationship is forged. But when we are teaching our clients how to fish by sharing with them models that we're looking at throughout courses such as this, then we're empowering them to take responsibility for their own life. The more responsibility they take for their own lives, the more empowered they become, and the less they're going to need you, which might not be a good thing, right? If you only have one client, but in time, as soon as they meet other people who are going through issues they don't know how to resolve, guess what they'll be doing? That's right, referring people onto you. I went to meet with this ecologist, CBT practitioner. They were fantastic. They helped me resolve my issues, understand myself in no time whatsoever. I recommend you go and see them, all right? That's generally how things tend to work in this industry anyway. Skills acquisition. Teaching them how to analyse and review and objectively critique the calibre of their own thinking and internal processes. Stage 4 or step 4 of this process of facilitating cognitive change. This is where the rubber hits the road, right? It's one thing having ideas, but a goal at the start of a CBT-based relationship can't just be to feel happy, right? That's pretty meaningless. That's pretty empty, right? So the goal must be something tangible, something that's going to really provoke them to not just work on themselves internally, but actually take action steps, do something. It's going to be action-focused, goal-focused. If all of our efforts don't result in a client actually doing something, we've got to question our own effectiveness here, friends, don't we? So this is where the skills consolidation phase kind of kicks into play. It's where the rubber hits the road and our clients actually must do something. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that this stage is determined by the client, not by us. You can take a horse to water, but you cannot make a horse drink. And this is also going to tie in with the idea of the standard openness, receptiveness, appreciation. All right. If a client is coming back to us week after week after week, having not implemented anything that they've learned, with us in an earlier session, we've then got to decide whether this is a client that we actually want to keep on working with. Because guess what? If a client's completely reliant on you to determine and produce the outcome for them, and then you don't, which you're not going to be able to, by the way, guess who they're then going to badmouth? Guess whose reputation and credibility is going to get damaged? Well, it's not going to be mine, it's not going to be theirs, it might be yours. Something we really want to be aware of. So step 5, stage 5, maintenance. And this is when we continue working with the client until the old habit has been replaced with the new. All right. This is where the new skills that we're teaching them, i.e. the A, B, C, and I'm going to give you another full demonstration of that in a few videos' time, and building in the D and the E, which I haven't shared with you just yet. This is where this new way of processing life and experience just becomes a new habit. All right, and believe it or not, working on ourselves in this way, it's just the same as riding a bike, right? Sometimes we might fall off and skin our knees and all that sort of thing, but the more we practice, the permanently better we become, the more regulated we become, the more grounded and balanced we become. And then to wrap things up, just a follow-up. What I'll generally do if I'm working with a client, once they are away pursuing the goals, doing their thing, which might be 3, 4, 5 sessions for me these days, something like that. What I'll do is I'll just give them a phone call or send them an email, maybe a month after the final session. How are you getting on? How's everything going? Just a quick checkup, or it might even be the case that you even 20-minute phone call, something like this. Why? because sometimes people can be quite compartmentalized in their thinking, and they might have very well just resolved the issue that they originally came to you with, and they've developed this new set of habits and life skills in one area of their life, i.e. how they relate to people. But if then they haven't quite learned how to apply this in another context, perhaps in their work or career or learning or something like this, then another session or two might be appropriate just to help them then see how it is that these new life skills and principles and ideas can be outworked in all areas of their life. So a follow-up's always good, not just for you, but it's also going to be good for your clients as well. So these are the 6 steps to facilitate cognitive change, and this is kind of like the overriding framework or the CBT process, if there in fact was one. Now, I couldn't give you a process that's really any more detailed than this. Why? Because you're never going to know what it is you're working with, all right? Problems are different for absolutely all people all the time. So as CBT practitioners, we've just got to get very good at being responsive and then adapting and adjusting to the clients and the circumstances and the situations and the presenting problems that we are faced with. So take note of this. This gives you your helping framework, and I'll see you again in the next clip.